Hello, I'm Ian Scales. You're watching TelecomTV's Alternative Agenda programme. And today I'm talking with Gilli Coston. Gilli used to be with Telefonica here in the UK, and now she's joined Logica or CGI, and she's going to be talking to us about M2M, of course. Gilli, welcome.
Hi.
And I guess it's been a year of platforms this year, hasn't it? How have you seen it panning out?
I think the M2M market's been all about connectivity for the last 15 years or so, and I had the great honour of being able to lead some of that and being part of that. But you know, the next big market is around platforms and the Internet of Things, and for both those opportunities, the IT behind that and the systems behind that are kind of front and centre. So I think that's going to be a big theme for them, or continue to be a big theme for the market into next year, and as you say, has been a big thing for this year too.
Because I suppose the industry really has been fixated on connectivity, understandably, especially telcos, because that's what telcos do. They connect things. So I assume too that you're looking now at platforms as more as a focus for this industry rather than just the pure connectivity side of things. Yeah,
and there's some great platforms already out there. So you know, there's many organisations who are using established platforms. From the Jasper platform that's well known, and also the Vodafone GDSP platform and the Transitel platforms, and so there's lots of platform capability already out there. So I think as much as it's about doing more of that, but also what are the other enablers within those platforms that enable the market to continue to grow? How do we make that open source and make it available to more and many? It's quite IT projects based, which is kind of quite different for a lot of from a telco perspective, and the solution providers tend to rely on telcos and their own R&D capabilities to be able to do their own IT. I think maybe some of the bigger players in the market, like CGI, are able to bring something quite significant to the party.
So I'm going to get the impression that a lot of people are looking at openness, like you say, open software and so on, as a way of kind of galvanising support in the market. And I suppose, you know, we all look back to what Apple did with its software development kit for the iPhone. Now, if you can only tap, you know, a dynamic like that in IoT and M2M, that's when you would really start seeing things happen. People developing applications and so on. Is that your feeling? You know, is that the way we're looking for those seeds to emerge?
I think that's one model, and if you look at Deutsche Telekom, that's exactly what they've done with their marketplace, and being able to create that place that solution providers or organisations that want to create solutions can go to and get everything they need. The Jasper platform has developer toolkits and things like that, but the open source and structure is going to help enable it and speed it up, because it's all about, you know, bringing new services that really matter to people's lives.
And we were talking before about, you know, disruptive innovation. You know, part of this is not just trying to do the thing that you used to do better, but actually using the technology to maybe re-engineer or transform the way you do it as a vertical segment. Which vertical segments do you think are going to be the most interesting?
Industrial, healthcare, insurance are all quite big markets with sort of, you know, 10 and 15% growth rates. Insurance, for instance, or even utilities, they're very traditional, and the way in which they bill customers is very traditional, and they're having to make major changes. So challenge for change, and challenging established markets and being disruptive in those markets while still working with the different parts of that market to help enable it to get in a better end result.
That's business transformation in many cases.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
And in terms of end users too, as you say, that's going to be a big pull through too. And I mean, part of it must be to do with the smartphone. People have got very, very familiar with apps. You know, they're not scared of apps anymore.
No, not at all.
And that must transfer onto how they might enable M2M on consumer gadgets as well, and around the home.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. I mean, Nokia is still a big player in the phone market, but much stronger in the feature phone. And when you know, the feature phone market and the smartphone market are kind of split, roughly 50-50 at the moment. But with 47% penetration of smartphones in the UK, that's a big market and a lot of people wanting to do things with applications.
Yes.
So we already see things like member services. So you've got the gift gaff model, which is a super way to create a community. And a lot of the utilities are already engaging with customers in a digital way.
So they're exploring the way they can use, these capabilities to kind of build a new relationship with their customers as well. Because I suppose, with M2M we tend to think of it being about a sort of advanced form of telemetry, really, don't we? We're still sort of stuck sometimes thinking about it in very mechanical terms. Whereas in fact, it's really can be quite consumer friendly and really start to develop the way these consumer goods can be used.
Yeah, I suppose you can think of the market as the connectivity layer and then the platform layer and then other stuff, and then the consumers are somewhere out there. Yeah. But actually it all can blend together with consumers actually pushing what they're looking for, and perhaps one of the big themes for next year is privacy versus premium. So what I mean by that is I'm a consumer and I'm happy to give up some of my privacy if my premium's reduced. So I'm exchanging value with my service provider in order to get more value from them, and I give away some of the value that's valuable to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's a theme that we're exploring ourselves in some other interviews actually, which is, who will handle your personal information for you. So it's not so much a case anymore of somebody like Facebook or something coming along and saying, I'm going to use all your personal information. You might actually enable an organisation, a trusted third party, to parlay your personal information to trusted fourth parties, if you like. So, it's an interesting area, isn't it?
So who's the digital trusted partner of the future?
Digital trusted partner, exactly. So what do you think is going to happen this coming year, Gilli, in terms of the way this industry is going to develop?
Yeah, I think more partnerships and alliances. That's been a big theme for 2012. So perhaps more partnerships and alliances in 2013, both locally and globally, and perhaps different parts of the ecosystem partnering together. So I think that'll continue to be a theme. Like to see more customer driven. I think there's been a lot of focus around the telcos and going beyond connectivity, which is an absolute must. Completely agree with that. But also it's a little bit inwardly focused on the industry, and perhaps actually more understanding of customer needs, and then building capabilities to customer needs earlier, and then we won't necessarily have so much surprise when consumers want to do things very differently.
Very good point. Yeah, that's great. Well, Gilli, look, thank you very much for that. Most useful. And we'll see you again next year.
Thank you.
M2M started a few years ago as a concept of connecting the utility kind of segments. However, today that has grown much more than just connecting 2 points. We have the infrastructure in place. Digital connectivity is available and ultimately connecting the entire society.